Okay, so a few weeks ago I made a video debunking someone else's theory, and it didn't even do that well. I just really wanted to make another one, because there are some terrible theories out there, and I don't see anyone else exposing them. Hello there! How are you doing? Today I'm going to be talking about quite possibly the worst popular Harry Potter theory on the internet, a theory known by the name of Dumbledore. Basically, if you don't know the theory, to summarise it really quickly, it suggests that Ron goes back in time after the Battle of Hogwarts and becomes Albus Dumbledore to help Harry defeat Voldemort. Now, this theory has been around for a long time. It's one of the oldest Harry Potter theories and was probably one of the first ever Harry Potter theories posted onto the internet. The original theory was posted onto a Harry Potter forum on the 21st of May, 2004. This was before the Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows books were out. When this theory first came out, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban hadn't even come out to cinemas. This was a long time ago. In 2004, MySpace was 1 year old. A lot of you probably weren't even born then and don't even know what MySpace is. Also, you know the TV show Friends? The last episode hadn't even aired when this theory came out. Okay, I think I made my point that this theory came out a long time ago. But the original theory isn't even bad. It's actually quite good, since at the time there were only 5 Harry Potter books out. And of course, this theory suggests that at the end of the Harry Potter books, Ron was going to go back in time and become Albus Dumbledore to help Harry defeat Voldemort. And since the 6th and 7th books hadn't come out yet, this was a plausible timeline to what might happen. And this would have actually been a really interesting storyline for J.K. Rowling to follow. I'm gonna leave a link to the original theory in the description because I think it is really well researched and you should check it out. However, after this theory was released, there are a few significant events in the following books completely disproving it. Firstly, Dumbledore dies in the Half-Blood Prince, which doesn't really disprove the theory, but it's still a shock to the system because if Dumbledore's dead, how is Ron meant to know he's meant to go back in time and become Dumbledore? Who's gonna tell him? Secondly, a lot of Dumbledore's backstory is revealed in the Deathly Hallows, specifically the death of his younger sister, Ariana. And Ariana, after all my mother's care and caution, lay dead upon the floor. And finally, this one's pretty key. Ron doesn't go back in time to become Dumbledore because he grows up and marries Hermione and has 2 kids, Hugo and Rose. Like, if Ron went back in time to become Dumbledore, this version of Ron wouldn't exist. If Ron went back in time, he would have died on the Astronomy Tower on the 30th of June, 1997. I also think it's important to say at this stage that Dumbledore has been confirmed to be gay when Ron clearly wasn't. No matter what fanfictions you're into. And even more recently, Jude Law has been confirmed to play a younger Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts sequel, which I personally think is a really good choice of actor, and I'm excited to see. And even though I'm pretty sure he's gonna wear quite an extravagant wig, he doesn't look anything like Rupert Grint. I'm sure the original author of this theory has just accepted that he was wrong and that J.K. Rowling had something completely different in mind. And you'd think that would be it for this theory, since it was disproved when the last book didn't go in that direction. But no! For some reason, this theory just completely blew up in the last few years. Multiple media outlets have posted this theory using the evidence from the original theory and just completely glossing over the fact that Ron didn't go back in time after the Battle of Hogwarts. So let's dig into this theory that lived on well past its sell-by date. Firstly, the theory describes the 2 characters as having an uncanny resemblance. Both the characters are described as tall, thin, having a long nose, and large hands. Also, apparently Dumbledore was a redhead just like Ron in his youth, because when Harry sees him through Tom Riddle's diary in the Chamber of Secrets, he's described as a tall wizard with long sweeping auburn hair. This is indeed an uncanny resemblance. They're both tall and ginger. I'm sold! What are the chances of there being 2 redhead wizards that are both tall and thin? Okay, there is a bit more than that, including the fact that Dumbledore has a scar on his left knee. I have one myself above my left knee, which is a perfect map of the London Underground. And Ron, you guessed it, sustained a serious injury to his leg during the Prisoner of Azkaban. And if you're sitting there thinking, aha, well that's his right leg, whereas Dumbledore has a scar on his left leg, good thinking. However, unfortunately, in the book, it doesn't specify which leg, so I'll give them a pass on that one. And while them both potentially having a scar on their left knee is more plausible evidence, it isn't even that surprising. Who doesn't have a scar on their knee? That's like the easiest place to get a scar. Anyone who's fallen over and cut their knee probably has one. I've got a scar on my knee. Does that make me a time-traveling Ron Weasley? Also, everyone who posts this theory seemingly just forgets that all the time turners were destroyed during the Order of the Phoenix. Because baby-headed Death Eater was screaming and banging into things, toppling grandfather clocks and overturning desks, while the glass-fronted cabinet that Harry now suspected contained time-turners continued to fall, shatter and repair itself on the wall behind them. Why does everyone just assume that Ron has one lying around at home just in case of a time of need? Like, regardless, even if there was a character that had a time-turner just lying around at home in case of a time of need, it'd be Draco Malfoy anyway. I'm joking, the cursed child is pure fanfiction. Anyway, the main meat of this theory is that the reason that Dumbledore must be Ron is because he always knows what's going on, which is seen as evidence that he's lived through all of this before. Piece of evidence, like how did Dumbledore know Harry and Ron were in the hut with Hagrid that night when he came with Cornelius Fudge and Lucius Malfoy, since they were wearing an invisibility cloak? Unless he'd been there before. But actually there's this charm called Hymenum Revelio which can be used to reveal someone under an invisibility cloak, and if Dumbledore suspected they were there, since he was so good at non-verbal magic, he could have used it without anyone knowing. No! Dumbledore's a time-travelling Ron Weasley. Or in The Prisoner of Azkaban, when Dumbledore just completely accepts the innocence of Sirius Black just because Harry and Hermione say so.
The point is, we know the truth. Please believe us.
I do, Miss Granger.
One might come to the conclusion that he knew Sirius was innocent all along. Well, actually, Dumbledore's just a really powerful Legilimens and would have been able to read Harry and Hermione's minds to know they're telling the truth. No! Dumbledore's a time-travelling Ron Weasley. Also, can we just take a moment to realise that if Dumbledore was from the future, why would he even let Voldemort go to Hogwarts knowing everything he's about to do? Why would he have let Wormtail be the Potter's secret keeper? Why would he have let Quirrell come to the school when he would have known that Voldemort was on the back of his head? Why would he have let Lockhart teach in the school knowing that he was a complete fraud? Why would he have let Mad-Eye come to the school knowing that it was obviously Bartimus Crouch? And that's just a few. Also, with all due respect to Ron, he is nowhere near as powerful a wizard as Albus Dumbledore. The best description we get of Albus Dumbledore's ability as a boy is from Professor Marchbanks, who examined Dumbledore in his nudes, who said, "I should know, examined him personally in Transfiguration and Charms when he did his nudes. Did things with a wand I'd never seen before." So if Ron did somehow go back in time and replace Albus Dumbledore, he wasn't exactly going to be blowing people away with his skill and magical ability. And it's not just that I don't think Ron's powerful enough to be Albus Dumbledore, I just don't think they have enough in common in general. Or do they? And this is where the last piece of evidence comes to play, and this is the one that really sells it to me. When we first meet Dumbledore, he offers a sherbet lemon to Professor McGonagall. "Would you care for a sherbet lemon?" said Dumbledore. We also learn that Dumbledore likes to use the name of Sweets for his office password. And when we first meet Ron, he introduces Harry to the wonderful world of wizarding candy. And it's just pretty common knowledge that Ron loves food and sweets.
Will you stop eating?
You heard it! Dumbledore and Ron both like sweets. They're basically the same person. And honestly, this isn't just me joking about and taking the mick. There are countless articles and videos on this theory using the fact they both like sweets as damning evidence. Honestly, search up Rumbledore and check it out for yourself. I like sweets. Does that make me a time-travelling Ron Weasley? Again, there is a bit more to this in the original theory, which actually brings up a point that really confuses me. In the last chapter of The Philosopher's Stone, Dumbledore says to Harry, Bertie Bott's every flavoured bean. I was unfortunate in my youth to come across a vomit-flavoured one, and since then I've rather lost the liking for them. However, according to Bertie Bott's famous wizard's card, he was born in 1935. And even if we presume that Bertie Bott founded the business in his late teenage years, Dumbledore would have still been in his 70s when he first tried one, since he was born in 1881. And I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone who refers to their 70s as their youth. But this still doesn't prove that Ron is Dumbledore. Dumbledore just somehow ate a sweet that didn't exist yet. Any other Harry Potter theorists watching, someone seriously needs to make a theory about this. This is keeping me up at night. But in all seriousness, this theory was good. It had an exciting idea behind it, and there was slight evidence to back it up, making you think it could possibly happen. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I'm sure you, like me, are confused why this theory is still popular. And the reality is, the reason it's still popular is the same reason that any terrible theory gets popular. There's a really exciting idea behind it which makes people rethink the series. It's not so long that people can't be bothered to read or watch videos about it. And people who don't know much about the franchise, maybe only seen the films once, will believe it because of the slight evidence for it. And only the few who know the franchise really well will notice the flaws, leading it to be shared by people who don't know the franchise very well and don't really care about theories. So we as a theorist community need to put an end to theories like this. If you see a bad theory viral on the internet, don't share it. Send it to me on Twitter or Instagram, and I will make a video about it for the millions to see. Or hundreds of thousands, considering my current sub count. But yeah, that is all for disproving this Rumbledore theory. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. Also, make sure to check out my YouNow. I broadcast every Sunday at 8 PM UK time, and it looks like I'm going to hit 10,000 fans this week. And I'm going to do a special 2-hour broadcast this Sunday at 8 PM UK time, so make sure to check my YouNow out and come and watch the broadcast if there are any questions you have for me. Other than that, make sure to subscribe and check out my other theory, Debunking Another Theory, or check out another Harry Potter video by clicking here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I've already said that. Check out my other social medias by clicking here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.